busyness is often just laziness in a collared shirt, right? We often feel like we're being busy when we're really just doing emotional avoidance, right? It's like we can always
Yeah.
find things to do, like, oh, I'm staying busy, but there's usually something that you know you need to be doing that you're just kind of like neglecting. Like, I need to clean my office one more time before I write that chapter, right? you know,
Yeah, yeah.
writing and creative work it's blue collar work, you know? The periods of time where it's just, magical downloads of the universe and you have these big creative ideas. I mean, ideas come to me, fully formed or at least halfway formed in an instant, on a long walk. And that's really great and that's creative. But where the rubber meets the road is where you sit down and you're actually typing. You've already been clever and creative. Now it's time to do the work. Um, so 90% of writing, at least for me, is I've already been creative. I've already been clever. I've hopefully been able to wrestle it out onto some notes or some pages somewhere. But then it's clocking in and getting your coffee, typing things out, editing and editing and editing and all that.
Yeah.
I like that about
And
it.
and you mentioned that some ideas come to you like, oh, they hit you halfway or fully formed when you're on a walk, but people forget to go on walks. Creative people forget to that's part of the process. That's not some meandering diversion. That for me, I have to create time to play guitar because I love guitar and I went to school for music and it's a passion of mine. And I don't do it professionally. It's not part of my work. And I'm a busy working professional entrepreneur guy. And so that's the thing that would get left out if I didn't pay any attention, if I didn't take responsibility. I would always get my work done, but I'd forget to play guitar. But it's because I take time to play guitar, I take time to go on a walk. That's when I give myself a chance for creative ideas to hit me. And I have the scheduled time to be physically typing, doing the work. I think, right? You need both of those things.
Yeah, and it's a discipline. And the good thing, and one of the things that I've learned now that I've written a book, I feel so much better about just knowing that even when I get off the path, if you haven't written for a few weeks or you look down at your guitar fingers and your calluses are gone, all you got to do is just pick up that guitar. And the more reps you get falling off the path and getting back on, the more you know that it's always there for you. And
Yeah.
there'll be weeks where my business is just requiring me, life is just requiring me to not write as much as I want to, and I can start to feel a little squirrely. But
Mm.
you do it enough and you just realize that, hey, this is the antidote. It's there for you. You just got to get back on the path and you can make up for the time.
So before we get to the kind of big question I ask everybody, let's come right back to the heart and soul of the TEDx talk itself, because there's one thing that you said in it that I'd like to get you to expand upon, which is your third strategy for how people can reclaim humanity is to waste more time. And this feels very related to what we were just talking about going on walks. For me, playing guitar could easily be seen as a waste of time in a world where I don't make a living playing guitar and I've got a lot of professional commitments. Why should people waste time? And more importantly, when you tell someone to waste time, most people in modern working world would freak out. What is it about wasting time that makes people feel so uncomfortable?
Oh, well, it's the rah-rah of productivity. It's the hustle and grind dogma that's out there. Whereas if you're not, if you're not hustling, you're falling behind. Social media makes it a little bit worse. I think, I say that, social media is kind of the conveyor belt of busy work where people want to be,
That's good. Yeah.
it's
You're obviously a writer.
24/7 things going on. But wasting time is important because, for one, and I say this in the talk, is that busyness is often just laziness in a collared shirt, right? We often feel like we're being busy when we're really just doing emotional avoidance, right? It's like we can always
Yeah.
find things to do, like, oh, I'm staying busy, but there's usually something that you need to be doing that you're just kind of like neglecting. Like, I need to clean my office one more time before I write that chapter, right? You need to polish the shoes in the corner. But there's
and just not to interrupt you, but well, to interrupt you obviously because I just did. But on that note, one of the ways I think that people do a lot where they feel like they're being productive when really they're wasting time is taking another online course, watching another YouTube tutorial, reading another book that when they've already read 5 books or watched 5 videos on that. I call those learning loops, where you get stuck, because learning is really fun for some of us. A lot of us, we find learning fun. But then at some point, you just have to stop learning and start doing.
Oh,
So
I've
it's an easy
fallen
way
into that
to
trap
feel
myself.
productive.
100%. And
Yeah.
there's something that happens to our brains, to our, this is more of the conscious mind versus the subconscious mind. And there's been a lot of brilliant psychologists who've written about this, where, when we're stuck in our logical part of our brain, when we're really into that problem solving, the subconscious mind isn't free to solve some of the bigger problems and issues. And playing guitar, going on walks, doing things that might look like wasting time, it's not really like we're not doing anything, because it's when that part of the brain relaxes that the subconscious can kind of come alive and can run off leash. It's like when you have the epiphanies in the shower, or when you're doing
Yeah.
something else, that the subconscious all of a sudden snaps into place and it can give you those creative epiphanies. So I really believe that loosening, you're not going to have your best ideas if you're just locked and loaded on task execution day after day. If you're staring down the barrel of a loaded calendar, you're just always going to be in that mode. Everything is going to be scheduled out. You're just going to be in that problem solution mode too much, where I really believe, and there is a lot of, neuroscience to back it up, that when you let go and you just are really letting your mind run off leash and free, that some of those best ideas are just going to come about and really, materialize, and then go to your conscious mind so you can think about them.
Yeah.
And another good reason to waste time is that, we're only here so long. It's okay. It's funny because it's like, I'm still a personal development writer at the end of the day. This book is, I don't like to pigeonhole it as a genre, but it's a self-help book. If you had to say, it's like
what I write is what you write. Yeah, exactly.
And so easy to like say things and then say, oh, well, this is why, because it's going to get you this. It's going to, oh, you want your best ideas? You want the $1 million idea? Well, maybe you should try doing nothing. And as the years have gone by, I'm kind of like, well, maybe doing nothing doesn't do anything, but that's okay too.